All right, family, it's Tasha it's Mama Bear Prepping. That's what it is. It's your average day. Already spilled on myself. Clearly, I don't know how to drink in the mornings, okay? I wake up, I do these videos early. I literally wake up, get going. I may or may not make the bed first. And I get into coffee and figuring out what I'm going to talk to you guys about. And this is me first thing in the morning, okay? Early in the morning, all right? So before I do many things in the day, I'm talking to you guys. But clearly, I don't know how to drink or swallow or whatever in the mornings, and I just be just dripping all over. So anyway, let's get into it. I want to talk about, I had a subscriber send me an email, talking about the Bible and where it discusses knowledge and skills, and that knowledge will be the death of many, right? Or the lack of, I should say, of knowledge will be the death of many. And we're getting into times where times are gonna get tough, and it's hard. Like sometimes I actually go to the store and I'm like, it's so plentiful. It's just looking really good today. And I find my own self doubting, like, man, there's no way we're running out of food. Like, look at this. Or no wonder people think everything's fine, because everything's fine, right? Until it's not. And so diesel, gas situation, this baby formula thing that's getting out of control, that everybody is losing their minds over. That is just the beginning. Okay. Really, the baby formula is the new toilet paper crisis, right? Not to say that toilet paper is equal to the importance of baby formula, so calm down. But what I'm saying is it's the biggest craze right now and problem that a lot of people are seeing and noticing, and therefore there's a lot of discussion about it. Mind you, this ain't nothing. I mean, that's just one thing compared to, this is about to happen to everything. Everything is going to be like the baby formula. So you can imagine how people are feeling now about baby formula and gas prices and things like that. And imagine when they can't find all the other things, right? And they're used to going online. Like if they can't find it in a store, they're used to going online and finding it or whatever. And when you can't get that stuff online, you can't get that stuff in a store, there is no food. I mean, imagine a store, somebody's like, well, I don't know if it would run out, but maybe it will get down to like 25%. Do you know what a store looks like at 25%? Do you think that people would let a store stay full at 25%? The only way a store stays at 25%, like maintains that, is by limitations and by increasing the prices like crazy, because you stop tons of people, having the ability to even buy the food in the first place. Okay. How about all the jobs that are lost? I told my sister the other day, she's worked at Walmart, you guys, bless her heart, for years. And I'm like, your job is not safe. You think because it was safe during COVID? It was safe during COVID, because it was essential and everybody was at home and everybody wanted to eat and cook and bake and do all this fun stuff. Baby, it ain't gonna be fun. There's not gonna be food. Therefore, there's not gonna need to be workers. Okay. And my sister's like me. She has a little bit of a, right? Doesn't take none. She's the first to go. Okay. They're not keeping that spunk around, right? They're keeping the ones with blinders, the ones that like to stay in line. That's who they're gonna keep. Okay. And so it's gonna be really, really rough. And I know that it's hard to see, but the writing's on the wall, baby. I'm about to go through it again. I've done this a while. You guys just saw the thumbnail. Now, I did this thumbnail many months ago, right? Because I watched a show called While the Rest of Us Die. It's on Vice. If you want to check it out, it's really good. It's episodes, right? It's one season, and every episode goes into different, basically doomsday prepper type situations that could happen. And basically, at the end of the day, how the government would leave us, okay? The elite would go in their bunkers, go to their safe places, wherever they're going to go to survive while the rest of us die. It's an awesome show, you guys. So if you need a new show to watch, go watch it. It's on Vice. That's the name of the channel, While the Rest of Us Die. Awesome, okay? But I'm doing it because, like, whoever owns the food is going to have the power. So if you have no food, you're not going to have no power. You're not going to have a say, because you're going to need to depend on somebody else to be able to stay fed and not starve, because millions are going to starve. Okay. Millions are going to starve before they, and I say that loosely, are even going to be having anything in place, programs in place to start this process, right, of the Great Reset and all these programs, right, to make the world a better place. But millions will starve because it's funny, nothing we do or plan, even, we're not ready for anything. And so can you imagine that they're actually ready for the thing that they actually have planned? I just don't see things going as naturally and as smoothly as we actually as preppers give them credit for. Like, we give them way too much credit that, like, the Great Reset and this and everything's going in order of what they're trying to do. Baby, I don't think it's that smooth. Okay. I think you're giving them a little bit more credit than is due. Okay. And you just see how we react to things that happen in the world to see our level of getting it done. Okay. That's just my 2 cents. But there's all these things happening in the world that should concern you with our food system. First of all, these manufactured plants, fires and different things that are going on. I think the count is like to 20 or 22. It's out of control. The sabotaged attacks. Nothing is a coincidence when it happens 22 times, you guys. That's not, and then all the years before, we've never been having all these problems. Yes, do fires happen? Absolutely, right? A lot of people try to say, oh, well, it's because there's less people, because they've had to cut back because of inflation, because of money, all this stuff. And I'm sure that does attest to some of that, right? Or if COVID's happening, they don't have workers there to watch the warehouses, to keep the warehouses safe from fire. Get the out of here. If you think that we are that stupid that this year alone we could have this many fires, and not everywhere, that would be happening in all types of warehouses, you guys. That would be a craziness happening all over, like warehouses everywhere going up in flames. No, it's only the food ones. Come on, like it's not a coincidence, and you really have to have some blinders and be super special to not understand that something is going on. Okay. And I don't mean to sound some kind of conspiracy, but you really just got to be some type of special to not even question what's going on. Like, why is this happening? Like, what is happening that only the food places are? Just too much. Another thing, this baby formula thing, right? So I've been getting blown up in my emails about baby formula situation. I know several channels have hit on it. I hit on it a little bit. I know in the comments we had a ton of people talking about how to make it, so please go visit that. I guess there's a bunch of other people making great videos on it as well. But sending baby formula, like, we're short. And where do you think, and where were they sending a lot of this baby formula? To the borders, to make sure that migrants' babies were fed. Okay, we've had so many migrants come into this country that we are feeding, and baby formula is no different. We have taken in droves and droves and droves of little babies and children that had to be fed. And here we are, the great America. We have everything. Come here. We have baby formula. Look, you just come across the border and we'll feed and clothe you and give you everything you need, including all our baby formula until we have none. Just ridiculous. If you think no baby formula is being sent to Ukraine to help aid humanitarian, you don't think that we're not doing humanitarian efforts as part of this war efforts? Get out of here. The military, one of our biggest attributes or things that we do care about, importance, is humanitarian. Okay. So if you think that we haven't been sending food and i.e. baby formula and things like that to help and to assist, we're not just leaving that to other countries to take care of those folks. And I'm not saying that that's the wrong thing to do, but hello, look at us now. We can't even take care of ourselves, and yet we're sending stuff out of this country left and right to help other people. Okay. Next thing, euthanization of millions and millions is still going on of chickens and birds. Okay. We've got bird flu still going on. Angry Pepper did a video about fish. There was some disease going on with the fisheries, and they were about to kill and euthanize a ton of fish. It is just crazy to me, the coincidences of all of the things that are happening now for the perfect storm for this to get out of control. And it's happening every day. It's just all this stuff together is why we are running out of food. It's why, everybody's saying this is planned. They loosely is doing this as a setup to introduce the plan, right? What's some other stuff going on? Shortages in fertilization, right? I said fertilization, fertilization. I can't, you guys. You can't make this up. I don't edit my videos. Fertilizer, right? For farmers, right? Farmers not having enough fertilizer and having to cut back their crops and therefore not putting out the biggest crop that they could possibly put out. Okay. And some of that does have to do with, war, right? And the sanctions and the back and forth with imports, exports, and the things that we got from those countries, right? Yes, that is affected by some of this, but it goes bigger picture. I mean, we were talking about fertilizer shortages well before the stuff in Ukraine popped off. Well before that. Last year we were talking about that. So it was already a concern. That just didn't help is all. So again, bolstering what's happening. Drought conditions, this year, drought conditions, any kind of flooding when we get into winter time, it's bad. It's bad already. Okay. But it's about to be not a good time. Okay. You have to have water to, grow food. And this has always been an issue in the West, right? And a lot of food is grown in California and in the Western states. And that is just going to get worse and worse and worse, where less and less crops can be grown because there is simply no water. Now, I don't know why we throw money at everything. I don't know why we don't take these big bodies of salt water and make plants. I know it's fancy. I know it's expensive. And turn that water into good water. I do not know. We don't do things smartly. We just don't. Okay. We just don't. All right. So my point is, things are bad. The drought is not going to make it. You have southern states now that are in record high heat, right? Already, we're only in May, so imagine a couple months from now. And so you have small farmers, you have other states that are typically not affected by, drought and hot conditions that are now having to deal with hot conditions. You have home gardeners that are having to, figure this out. It's going to be a lot, but drought is a huge aspect of being able to grow food and what's happening with our food. The other thing is overseas lockdowns, right? All those imports, whether this is a setup or not, but when you have these big countries that are locking down huge cities that make our cities look like chump change, okay? And you just shut down production, basically. Okay. All those workers are at home. That's, we get so much from, I hate to say it, but we get so much from these countries. And so that is going to catch up. Okay. Not only are those countries on lockdown, but those countries are then now not hoarding. It's their stuff, but they're keeping their stuff that they would export. So not only are the workers not working that would typically be working in all these plants and different companies that would then be sending out all this stuff that goes all over the world, right? Important stuff. Okay. I'm not talking about your shoes and your things like that. I'm talking about important stuff, like, medicines, things like that. Okay. Those people are all at home. But then you have them where they've been keeping their exports. They've been keeping their food as if they're waiting for something. Okay. And so, that is going to catch up. I'm surprised, honestly, that aspect we haven't seen or really felt the aspects of that yet, of the lockdowns. I've been expecting for it to hit already, in regards to really seeing some major holes and stuff that we know come from those other countries. One being medicines. Medicines is a huge thing that once it goes, it's going to go. And those lockdowns, North Korea just started their lockdown last week, I think it was. Everybody's freaking out. Why did they go in lockdown? Why? They went in lockdown, you guys, because COVID. And listen, let's talk about this real quick. It's coming to come back. It's making a comeback. It's coming back. Okay, so if you don't have your stuff in order by now, after years of this, and when I say your stuff in order, I'm just talking about your personal things, okay? The things that you want, if you had, I'm not saying we're going to be on any kind of lockdown. I don't think we're going there, okay? But I think that these numbers are about to get out of control again because it's natural. It's an endemic. It's not going away. It's the new flu, okay? It's not going away. And so you have to just get the things that you want to have and need to be able to prepare and go through the roles. It's just like flu season, to go through it. You get your things, you know it's coming. But I'm not talking about it no more, but no, it's coming, okay? Next thing, current war, right? So I touched a little bit on this earlier, but imports that or exports that we get from them, right? Or no, import. We import it. We export it. We import it. Imports, stuff we get from them, right? We've talked about this. Fuels, we've talked about this. Grain, oils, things like that. All these different things that we get from there. Yes, okay, will have an impact. It will have a small impact. Oh, fertilizer, right? The pieces that go into fertilizer. The problem is we had these problems before, and all this did was just make it worse. It's not. See, the problem is the way that, unfortunately, the president speaks about it is the reason why we have all these problems is because of the war that literally has only been going on a month or so. And that's why we're having inflation. That's why we're having shortages. That's why we're not going to have food. That's why we don't have baby formula. Maybe, it's always, that's the reason why. But these problems were already here before that. Okay. That's the problem. And that's the stuff that's not being shared to the public, is that these were already concerns. Okay. If these things were already happening and the concern was already there well before, anything popped off in Ukraine. Next thing, is diesel, right? Diesel pricing for truckers, that stuff comes out of their pockets, as they do their things, and then they get that back on the back end. But that's a long process for them to get that money back. And so it's a problem because the diesel is going out of control just every day, a little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more. And so think about this every day. That's, you're cycling out truckers that can't do it no more. So every day you're having truckers that they just can't do it no more. It's too much, right? And so you still have some, they're hanging on, but the farther we go and the more expensive we go, that's more truckers falling off. That's more truckers saying, forget it. I'm going to retire. I can't do this anymore. I can't afford it anymore. I can't do it anymore. I'd rather be at home. And they're just going to hang up the hat, and that's going to be it. And so that is going to be impacting. Containers at the ports. Still hearing about containers sitting at the ports. Food spoiling. We're going to have food shortages, and we have food spoiling. We still have food that is making it to the markets and expiring within days. Okay. I remember fruit. You could have put that in the fridge and made it last weeks and weeks and weeks. Now, no. Even all the little tricks and hacks that you can do to make fruit last longer, it just doesn't, okay? It just doesn't. It's within days. I brought some mandarin oranges, which normally are pretty good. But I tell you what, it was just too much. Last thing I have is the migrants. And again, I talked a little bit about this, but imagine all these people coming over. Guess what they're getting? Government assistance. They're getting, food stamps. They're getting baby formula. They're getting products from us. Okay, so it's a big deal. These are the reasons why we should be concerned about food. And I hope you're doing the things. I hope you're getting the food. I hope you're stacking. Use your coupons. Go on sales. Get your bulkers. Think of your staples. Think about Great Depression and get it done. Okay. I'm going to be doing a tour on my other channel today too, so make sure you check that out later. And I hope to hear from you in the comments, and I hope you guys have a blessed day. See you tomorrow. Bye.